Okay, this is Moshe coming to you from Israel in the Galilee. We had a rainy yesterday, rainy night. We're going to get a little rain, and then the same by the morning it'll be over. And then it looks like we'll have dry weather for a while. So I got the dogs inside. Did manage to get outside for a while this morning, which was good. And what I want to do now is go into the live stream and let me see what's going on here. Hang on a minute. Hang on a second, guys. We'll get started pretty quickly. You right there. Let's see. Be right there. Okay. All right. So today is the 19th of November. It's a Tuesday. It's 9:42 in the morning here in Israel. And I'm going to run into the live stream as soon as I find the icon for the thing. I did something and moved my icons around here. And I got to find the thing. Don't know where it went. I took there we go. Take an icon off and they all shift around. And I have like 4 pages of icons. Okay. So let's see if we got sound and picture. So seems that we got sound and picture. And I'm going to put a got one troll I got rid of. Okay. I'm going to put up a couple of quick posts in the chat Just two, actually. I don't think these people, the trolls, realize that if you put enough, if you get blocked in enough places, I think they stop you from posting on any chat in YouTube for several months. But they'll learn. If you want to report any of these trolls, or go ahead and report them. You click on their name and then you get a thing. I believe you get a thing where you could report them. They're just obnoxious children. That's what they are. I doubt any of them are over 21 or even over 18. It's a sad day that that's what they do for amusement. They go around and play troll. I mean, what an existence, huh? All the sites get them, even the SBOT sites, they get them too. Okay. Got it. All right. Being a Bible believing site, I'm going to do some praise. There is no God like Jehovah. 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 There is no Messiah like Yeshua. 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 Okay, so let's get started. We'll do some current events, and then we'll jump into war type current events, and then we'll jump into the Bible study, which is going to look at the destruction of the daughter of Babylon. And we're going to analyze if Biden is doing this because he sides with the beast and Trump is with the whore. And I'll show you how to analyze that. Okay? And we'll see. We don't have crystal clear vision at prophecy. We know it's going to happen, but we don't have the details and we don't have the exact precise timing. So that's why we watch, as Yeshua said, watch. Okay, there's this, what are they calling it? I forgot the name. I'll look it up. Some kind of cyclone. They created a new name, a bomb cyclone. It's a brand new name as far as I know. They're saying that this bomb cyclone is going to soon hit the West Coast. California, Oregon, and the state of Washington and British Columbia should get affected. And others are saying Wyoming and Idaho will get affected. It will bring rain, flooding, and snow. They're also adding in that FEMA does not have enough funding to cover the hurricane season this year. Well, the hurricane season is officially over. So what we have to ask ourselves here, and I'm posing it as a question, I can't definitively state this is the case yet. Hindsight's going to be the 2020 vision with prophecy. After it's over, you look back and, that was it. So, is this the continuing whirlwind of the Lord falling on him until it accomplishes what it wants? A cyclone is a whirlwind, which is a storm or a tempest. Now, hurricanes, when you look down at them on the television, the weather stations, you see them rotating either this way or this way, right? So that would be a whirlwind. And of course, the cyclone is a twisted tornado, and that is a whirlwind also. So I don't know. The fact that it's a bomb cyclone, not a hurricane per se, and it's coming out of hurricane season is quite worthy of paying attention to. Let's look up the definition of a bomb cyclone. This must be good, right? Let's see what they say. So I never heard this one before. They make stuff up as it goes along. It's a low pressure system that drops in pressure by 24 millibars within 24 hours. Let's keep looking at what to expect from the bomb cyclone. That's, I think, a stupid video. Let's see. Well, it's saying there's no bombs involved. Well, we know that. Bomb, bombogenesis. Wetter air, gusty winds. The lower the pressure, I guess the storm gets worse. Rapid intensification. Snow in the mountains, they're saying 3 to 6 inches. That's not that insane. Uh, they're talking about Monday. I guess they're talking next week. Um, Coastal flooding, minor flooding, parking lots, roadways, blustery winds, the Cascade foothills. I don't think it's that serious, but you never know. Gotta wait till you see it happens. I don't know. Internet cables being cut. Now, this is serious. They know that Russia has these ships that are capable of laying and repairing internet cables, and they've seen them running around in various places, like in the Baltic. Now, apparently, there were 3 cables cut. Okay, and let me go through. Now, the important thing here that you take away is that the internet cables carry the internet, and they also carry the SWIFT financial system, the international money wires. So the way the world operates, in international commerce, is they send SWIFT. You can call it a cable, whatever you want to call it. It's a wire transfer from one country to another. And these SWIFT cables ride on the internet cables, so they use the internet cables. So they would have gotten cut too. So let's talk about which countries got cut. And I gotta look them up here, which I will in a minute. I put them up on my Twitter earlier this morning. Um, they were in the Baltic. Uh, one cable was Finland and Germany, and they're feeling it was intentionally sabotaged. And of course, we point the finger at Russia, although they have not um, said that they did it. Uh, this cuts Finland off from communicating with Central Europe because the cable apparently goes into Germany, and then from there it goes into other countries in Europe. So they're in trouble, and this is one of the countries that Russia has been threatening. Okay, that's one of the cables. I'll go into my Telegram and fish out the other two cables that got cut for you. Um, they're also talking about getting a judge in America to make Google sell its widely used program Chrome, its browser. See, Chrome blocks ad blockers, which is annoying, so they can make more money with ads. The second thing is Chrome works with Google to promote what they want to promote. You know, it's just the internet's been a nightmare. Okay, Google. You know, I'm old. I remember the internet when the websites were black and white around '94. I had one. I had a Bible prophecy spiritual warfare website. It was black and white back then. They had black and white websites. Okay, I used to code and the websites. So you know, they've come a long way, but we used to have 7 dominant search engines. Disney had one, Lycos had one. Yahoo used to do human reviews of every website. Um, there was, I can't remember all of them, but it didn't take for most of them very long to put your website up. There was one really big one, I can't remember the name, it's defunct now, that would put the website up within 10 seconds. They sent a spider to make sure it was functional, and they listed it in 10 seconds. Google, most people don't. 80% of the searches, this is old statistics, they're probably relatively true today. 80% of the searches don't go past page 2. Some people do. So, Google, it takes you months and months to get your website on the first 2 pages if you ever get it at all. And we don't know what exactly their criteria is now to list a page on the first 2 pages. I don't know what it is. They put Quora and Reddit up there all the time, which are junk sites. It's just people writing comments, and they push that up like it's some sort of a relative site. Who wants it? You used to be able to block Quora and Reddit and places you don't want in Chrome, and Google stopped you from doing it. So they force you to look at this pure junk. It's junk. And it's garbage. And so this is one of the reasons. They must be making a lot of money off of Quora and Reddit somehow. They wouldn't do it. This I guarantee you. If there's not a pot of gold in this rainbow, Google would never do it. What do you think? They're there to perform public service? So it used to be you had to have links to your website. So you went around and you put links all over the internet and you hired people to do it. And then Google would eventually pick up the links and you'd move up in the search engine. Then you would, I started something once in the early 2000s and I paid for Google advertising for about 6 months to get the site going, where I had to pay per click. You see, that's how they make the money. The problem with pay per click is it's a sheer waste of your money. What I found is when you do pay per click, the people bid the price of the click up. Okay, if they still do this, I don't even know. I don't even think they do the sponsored. I don't know what they do, but they used to put you up in the search results right up at the top, and you like on the first page, or if you bid lower, the second or the third page. And to get good coverage with this, the problem was you would have to bid so much that the people bid it up to a point where you would break even. It was a waste of time. So what we did then is we looked for obscure search terms, even typos. And those things were dirt cheap, and you put enough of those bids out there and you'd get traffic that way. But Google ruined the internet. Okay? They absolutely ruined it. We used to be able to get listings in the websites in seconds, or in some cases 1 or 2 days, but in a lot of cases it would be a couple hours. So you could get current news. People would put sales up, and they've ruined it. Google wrecked the internet. That's it. And and they're also controlling Gmail. So Google's like an octopus that has its arms wrapped around everything. So if they make them sell the Chrome browser to somebody else, the somebody else is going to be a hundreds of millions of dollars company, if not billions, and they're going to do something perhaps better and more humane than Google, but it's still going to be, they're not going to plunk down a fortune to buy Chrome and not find a way to twist and turn it to make a lot of money. So they really hurt things severely, okay? They really did. The other thing, speaking of hurt things, now Google's tied to YouTube. YouTube is now flooded with artificial intelligence sites in healthcare, automobile reviews, many different reviews, and I've learned to pick out the artificial intelligence garbage, and I don't know why they let it in. They can surely detect it. It's just garbage. People in third world countries do it to get traffic and try to make some sort of money out of it. I don't know what they make. In some countries, if they make $400 or $500 a month, it's good money for them. They could survive. Hochstein's coming to Lebanon today. Apparently, the Lebanese government and Hezbollah, of all things, are supposedly accepting the United States ceasefire proposal. Hezbollah, I said. Now, it remains to be seen what they put in there to make Hezbollah accept it, or what Netanyahu was going to say about it. So Hochstein's talking to Lebanon. I don't know if he's going to meet with Hezbollah or not. He's talking to the Lebanese government, and then he's coming to Israel the day after and present it to Netanyahu, and then, we'll see what Netanyahu says. If Hezbollah accepted it, I doubt it's acceptable to Israel. Israel's economy actually in the third quarter this year, bumped up 3.8% growth in the middle of the wars, and that's very interesting. The IDF has found that 60 to 70% of all the weapons that we've confiscated from the Hezbollah in Lebanon are made in Russia. And We don't know if these weapons were moved to Syria and then into, Hezbollah through Lebanon without the permission of Russia. I don't know what happened, and neither do we. Neither does the government of Israel. But what Netanyahu decided to do is take all these Russian weapons that we've confiscated and turn them over to Zelensky in Ukraine to use against the Russians. So it's beginning to get, Israel's beginning to push back against Russia. Macron, the nincompoop that runs France, said the U.S. made a good decision with the authorization of the use for the long-range missiles. Look, this is real. The Times carried it. One of the Figaro newspaper in France carried it. Associated Press carried the story. Putin made a speech about it. It's real. People are running around. They're in denial, and they say, no, this can't be real. We're going to talk about that later. Germany is not letting... no, I don't know that. Wait, it's saying Germany is not sending Taurus missiles to Ukraine. Now, I believe in the past they authorized the use of long-range missiles to Ukraine, so I'm not sure. Italy disagreed with this. They banned Ukraine from using Italian weapons in the territory of Russia, any kind of weapon. So Ukraine could just use the Italian missiles against parts of Ukraine that the Russian soldiers were in. Or they'll irritate Italy and they'll get no more weapons. There was a missile attack near Tel Aviv, and it was actually taken down by Israel, but the shrapnel injured one person seriously, one moderately, and three lightly. So to say it's the shrapnel means it's the Iron Dome that could have hit it. The Iron Dome is a proximity weapon. It gets near the incoming projectile, blows up. Shrapnel from the Iron Dome, we shoot two at a time, hits the incoming missile, and shrapnel could result from the ripping up of the incoming missile or drum, as well as pieces of the Iron Dome. So if you're indoors, just in your house or something like that, it's generally plenty of protection against the shrapnel hitting you. It just hit your roof and that's it. Normally. Gazans are complaining that they bought a kilo of white sugar, bad sugar, in the marketplace for 30 shekels, which is $9 or something like that. And there was sand inside. So these Muslim terrorists are very convinced to keep ripping each other off. A German court ruled Monday that Facebook users whose data was illegally accessed and distributed online can claim compensation in a landmark decision. So they're going after Facebook. I'm still looking for those other countries. Sweden and Finland have urged their residents to get ready for war, by the way. I'm giving you the rundown from my my Telegram posts earlier today. The Hamas people looted 97 humanitarian aid trucks yesterday at gunpoint. Nice people. Germany told their corporations to prepare for war. Sweden did it, Finland did it. Now, they're not going to go around telling their people to prepare for the war and freak everybody out unless they mean it. So we know Germany and Finland were severed. Well, it was total 3 cables and 6 countries in Europe were severed. I don't know where I put that post, so I don't want to waste everybody's time while I keep looking for it. But the likely candidate for this knocking out the cables is Russia. And Russia knows nobody's going to start a war over that. The difficulty here is Russia's digital currency system is, I would say, 99% unlikely to use the regular cables that the SWIFT system uses. Because Putin doesn't have the access, the control over those. So Putin may lay different cables, or more likely, Putin probably figured out a way to do this with some sort of radio or telephone communication system. There's a lot of crypto technology that could be used to accomplish this. They could give them a machine that changes the passwords every minute or every 15 seconds even. And, so the receiving end of this BRICS thing would have the same clock, and it would be looking for the new password that changes every 15 seconds. So that would be monumentally hard to hack, because if you get the password, you'd have to attempt to accomplish the break-in about 15 seconds. Well, probably more like 4, 5, 10 seconds, whatever, It wouldn't work. You'd probably have to have multiple passwords. You'd need to have probably usernames, all kinds of stuff. They wouldn't be able to get in. And that might be what Putin is trying to do. And this system is just to transfer money from one BRICS country to another. So the hackers wouldn't have a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Because the money would only go, you could specify, what accounts. It would only be able to go to the BRICS accounts. So if they transferred money, if they managed to break in and transferred money, they would only be transferring to other country accounts. So it doesn't look likely. So he may be using a wireless system. So it's in his best interest to keep cutting the cables. This was a shot across the bow, more so at Europe than Biden, to tell them to cut it off with the long-range weapons, which they're not going to do. So they could hit 190 miles, I think 186, 187 miles into Russia, which gives them access to St. Petersburg, Moscow, and other areas that are important to Russia. It only covers, I think, 16% of Russia, but they could hurt Russia badly. And Ukraine, Zelensky said he's already preparing to use, which means launch, these missiles on Russia. So the situation there for a war to pop up is you'd have to be, it'd be really lying to say that, it's not going to escalate. I have a prayer request for JP, Jack Peter, JP, Jack Peter Healing. So the cables were cut between Lithuania and Sweden, Germany and Finland, and two other countries. So this is really serious, but it's not going to provoke a war, and Putin knows that. So he had a way to retaliate, send a signal that, we'll cut all your internet cables, things like that, and, get America scared. But it's not something America's going to go to war over. And I imagine he figures his BRICS money transfer system communications will be immune from getting cables cut so it can't go tit for tat. Putin, Iran, North Korea, I don't believe use the SWIFT system at all anymore. They're blocked. China may. So the $1 million question is, and this is, I pose to you as a question, not a fact. Is Biden trying to bring about a World War III to use it somehow to block Trump from ever getting sworn in? There's a lot of ways that could happen. And Trump's talking about things like this. So Trump is afraid that they're up to no good and they're going to block him from being sworn in. So what would Trump's remedy to that be? Trump gets out there as the president-elect, not the president, and starts telling everybody about his dream team in the cabinet. Okay, Secretary of State, Defense, who's going to run the CIA and all that, And everybody, wow, this is fantastic. Our dream is coming true. But nothing that Trump ever speaks of talks about any biblical type repentance of sins. Nothing. Nothing. He gets on the edge of it, like he says he doesn't want to absorb the expense and bother of having transsexuals in the military. He's not banning abortions I'm talking about banning them. No. In the 60s, they were banned pretty much. People were going to Mexico. So I don't know what everybody's so excited about Trump. Most of what he's doing is talking about improving the economy of America, which his points and his plans are extremely valid. But the prophetic timeline will not allow for it. He wants to now use the military to deport the illegal aliens. that on the surface appears to be a good idea, because, as I told you, to get people in law enforcement to deport, let's run with Trump's high figure, 30 million, 60 to 70% being military age males, he would have to hire in the vicinity of at least 15 to 25,000 more federal agents. And that would take years. Being ex-law enforcement is not guy, I can explain to you what that involves. They have to put the job announcement out, which, people would pick up. Then they got to fill out an application, which is usually, I don't know, 3, 4 pages, where you went to school, every place you ever lived, every place you ever worked, things like that. Health issues, law enforcement issues, and so forth, right? So you get that out there. Then you send the application in. Then they got to read the application. And then they contact you on the phone, usually. You get a phone call. And they generally talk to you about why you want, I've had these phone calls, why you want to go in and join. Then they, quickly get into your background investigation, which could cost $100,000. And what they're looking for really above and beyond is somebody that came out of the military or another federal law enforcement agency that has the security clearances needed. Okay? And that means they don't have to do any real background investigation. They just have to update it from the time the person left the military or the law enforcement agency to the present. So the person might have had 1 or 2 jobs since they lost their security clearance. So they don't mind that. They got to send agents to 1 or 2 locations. They don't care. They'll do that. But if it's you got out 11 years ago and you had 5 jobs, they're going to get rid of you. Not because you're not going to make a great agent. It's going to cost them too much money to run the background investigation. So they're not looking for that. Those are their prime candidates. The next level is somebody that went to college and just recently got out of college. And that's a lot more trouble because they got to verify the person was born in the country, who the parents are. They got to make sure this person attended the grade school, the junior high school, the college. They got to talk to people, roommates, or neighbors, and teachers, and all this kind of stuff. It starts to get tedious. Now, if the person had 1 job since they graduated college, they'll probably go for that, because verifying birth certificates, birth records, education, that's pretty easy for them to do because they could do a lot of it online and it's just clerk work. They're trying to avoid going around knocking on doors. They don't want that. So it would take them a considerable amount of time until they found likely candidates. Okay? So it might, till they could hire 25,000 special agents, just hire them, might take them a year. Now they got to run them through their general special agent school in Glencoe, which is Georgia, and they get all the, an IRS special agent, Homeland Security, any of them pretty much go there. Food and Drug Administration, the housing people, education people, all of them. they go to the same place and they get a basic set of training, which is, I don't know, I think it's 10 weeks now, something like that. You know, how to get a search warrant, how to do a felony car stop, how to search a house, how do you storm a house, you know, firearms training, car training, law, you know. And then from there, they go to a specialized school for that agency, which could be just as a kick against it, 6 weeks, and something like that. And then they go to work, and they're on probation for a year, but the time in school counts. So they like to give them nothing to do for the duration of that 1 year, except run background investigations and do clerical work or, oh, stand at the entrance to the offices and check people's ID or something. They don't do much of anything, okay? Maybe they send them to additional school for something like go to undercover school, how to go undercover, which depending on the intensity, I think they have levels of that. It's probably about a month, you know, but they have deeper levels, you know, and yeah, stuff like that. They might send them to a school to learn about electronic devices for eavesdropping. They, you know, all kinds of things, right? They try to keep the person sheltered, which means they don't want to throw them out on the street and start getting into violent encounters with illegals and gangs and sleeper agents and stuff like that, because the chances of a new agent tripping on his own shoelaces in these encounters is high. He may use too little force and cause the harm to come to another agent or allow harm to come to another agent. He may use too much force. He may hurt a bystander. You know, anything could happen. Anything. So they try to keep these people sheltered because it hurts their budget if they hire people, run them through the academy, and they work for a few months and then they get in trouble, they're on probation, they don't have the civil rights protection, they get canned, okay? And they wasted a fortune. Background investigation, hiring, recruiting, interviewing, training, and they hate that. They hate it. So they shelter them. So what good is it going to do? This is how the system's run for decades. What good is it going to do Trump? They're not going to want to put these people out on the street until the year's up. So then if they get into a jam or trouble, they might get a suspension for a week, a month, I don't know, you know. They might get demoted, they might get transferred. Uh, there's things they can do. Give them scut work, like go around and check all the fire extinguishers in all their offices in 6 states. You know, there's punishment work. You know, put them on shifts and keep changing the shifts. There's things they could do without firing the person. So when you understand this, and anyone who works in law enforcement is going to have a grasp of this, especially federal law enforcement, you're going to have a grasp of this and how slow and burdensome the freight train moves. It moves slow. And, um, you know, a lot of their applicants, they're going to have interviews, they're going to send them out for medical, and then when they pass probably 2 interviews, probably something like that, and they got through the medical, maybe they give them a polygraph, I don't know. Probably then the last thing they're going to do, if the guy or the gal survives this far, is run the very expensive background investigation. And a lot of people are going to fall out on the medical, they're going to fall out on the background investigation. Okay? So they lose a lot right there, but they're not that worried. If they lose them before the background investigation. Then they put a bunch of them into the naked class, I don't know, 30 or something, and throw them into the school at Glencoe, which is the basic course for special agents. They have another version that would be for uniformed police officers, like for forestry or other agencies that have just uniform. They're like guards, but they're federal agents. They're not special agents, so they're more like a patrol officer in uniform in a police department. The special agents are more like detectives. If that helps. So I said, how the heck is Trump going to get these people? It's going to take him in reality probably 2 years. And so he came up. He knows that he came up with a plan, and he has a plan to deploy the military. The military is not on probation. There's a lot of military that have sufficient training for this. His primary draw would be military police, the MPs, the SPs, which is shore patrol, the Navy, the APs, which is air police, Air Force. The Marines use shore patrol, I believe, and I don't know what the Coast Guard calls them, probably shore patrol, I don't know for sure. So you got your Air Force, your Army, your Navy, your Marines, your Coast Guard. So they have quite a few of these guys, and they would probably deploy them because they get training in riot control and things like that. So it's a different world when you take soldiers and deploy even military police, but he's also going to probably have special forces. When you start deploying them against in America against illegals and gang bangers, and they're gonna, their approach to things is gonna be let the bodies hit the floor. They're not gonna be um, using restraint like law enforcement agents would. Okay, they're trained in war. You don't use restraint in war. You use tactics to keep yourself alive and the enemy dead or wounded. And it's going to be very ugly if it ever comes to pass. Would it work? Ultimately, it probably would, all things being equal, which they usually aren't. He would probably deploy, I guess, 25,000 soldiers or something like that. Hitting a building that's occupied by the Venezuela gangs is not, I mean, what are there, 10, 20, 30, 40 buildings in the country? That's not it. Getting them off the streets all over the United States where they're hiding and, low profile, I don't know how you can do that. So I would say at the end of 4 years, Trump would probably get, if there are 30 to 50 million, like the retired Border Patrol guy said, let's go with the low figures, 30 million. I would think he probably at the end of 4 years wouldn't even hit 10 million. Probably wouldn't hit more than 2 or 3 million. So he's making boisterous claims. Remember, he made claims about Obamacare, getting rid of it. He never did it. People are still suffering under Obamacare. And he kept pushing Israel to do a two-state solution, give the West Bank back for peace. Now, that's the most idiotic, stupid thing I ever heard of, because we did give Gaza back for peace, and look where it got us. So he's not going to accomplish that with Israel saying, okay, we're in, sign us up. That's not going to happen. So why did Biden leave the border open all those years and let all these people in? For the votes? Well, that didn't pan out. 30 million, he should have got, millions of votes and drowned Trump out on the popular vote, and, he didn't. also on the Electoral College, and he didn't. Or, well, Kamala didn't. Maybe that wasn't their motive. It really wasn't. I'm going to take a fast break and we'll discuss what Biden's motive might have really been. Biden, I said. I'll be right back. No, not yet. Why? What Trump is doing is he's painting a picture to the American people that there's going to be great economic prosperity. Life in America is going to be great, although it's still going to be immoral, severely immoral. He's not talking about anything regarding the idols in America, like the Statue of Liberty and so forth. He's not talking about the Masons. He's not talking about the Satanic Church. He's not talking about people worshiping false gods all over the place in America with all these crazy religions. He's not talking about atheists. He's not talking about people that are very confused about who they are, if you know what I mean, and, many other things. Okay? So he's painting a dream picture. Why? Because he wants people to fight for him as a deterrent to stop Biden from having him sworn in. He has two federal criminal cases. One case in New York State courts, which is, I think, out of the New York City jurisdiction, where he has. Hold on a second. Hey, are you here now? I'll come right out. Thank you. Okay. I gotta go pick up a delivery. It'll just be a few seconds. I gotta run out and get it from the guy. Sorry, that's Israel, and you work for the couriers. They don't work for you. Be right back. Sorry, guys, that's life in Israel. So, you gotta, look at this thing Trump is doing, Now, some of the other sites are starting to talk also that Biden may be trying to stop Trump from being sworn in. So the way I'm going to address it is with Bible prophecy. And we'll see what seems to make sense and not make sense. Okay? So we're going to start on that now. I'm going to go check the chat to see if I got to throw the garbage out. Let's see. Am I Alan Jones? Hey, it's Alex Jones. You're trying to make fun of me with. We'll block this particular character. Okay. So we're going to go to Revelation 17 and 18 and dissect it and see, okay, what we can come up with. Now, I'm going to actually, let me start with Isaiah 47. Now, I assume it's common knowledge with most of you that the daughter of Babylon is America, okay? If you don't, you can go to my channel and look on the live section. Okay, it has videos, shorts, live. Click on Vibe and you'll scroll through and you'll find lots of teachings on the daughter of Babylon. Okay, Isaiah 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. Okay, quick. Chaldeans were the people that lived in old Babylon, the one that is now what we call Iraq, that area, general area. And the Chaldeans were witches. They were soothsayers, fortune tellers, this type of thing. And that's what goes on in America. Did Trump ever say, I'm going to make a federal law and shut down every fortune teller in the United States? In some states you drive around and you see businesses with a big sign, fortune teller. That's a witch. Never talks about that. Okay, sit on the ground. Well, that means like you're mourning. There is no throne. That means no longer the head of anything. O daughter of the Chaldeans. You see, it's not the actual Chaldeans in the old Babylon. It's the daughter of them. It's, we're the daughter of Zion, it refers to in the Bible. Okay? Israel was gone for 2,000 years roughly. There was no Israel. And now there is, with the daughters of it, so to speak, okay? And he's calling America the daughters of the Chaldeans. You see, the same spirits that were running Babylon were running America, going back to the 1700s when George Washington the Mason got elected and Ben Franklin was there as another Mason and stuff like that. You got to take this into account. Don't take it lightly. Okay? Sit on the ground, there is no throne, daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, and cross over the river. He's talking about the elite traveling around, crossing rivers and stuff like that. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea. Now, that could mean a lot of things. The word that starts with a T and ends with a Y could be involved. No, Chief, no. If I put him out, it's supposed to rain. Let me see. I could put him out. Let me see if he shuts up. If he doesn't, I'll put him out. Make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. My iPad got a little stuck. Let me see if I could unstick it. I think it did. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, thy shame shall be seen. See, I think that it's the word that starts with a T and ends in a Y. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. He's not going to come at him like a man. As for our Redeemer, Jehovah of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Now, we could build on the Redeemer and Year of Redemption and stuff like that, but you can, because the people leaving America are going to be leaving in the Year of Redemption, I believe. They're going to be the first ones to come out. So you've got to tie it to that, because the next great Exodus, I do not believe, will occur before we get redemption, which comes after the Day of Vengeance. Well, the Day of Vengeance is probably the last day of the Year of Recompenses and beginning of the Year of Redemption. It's in both years. The last day in one and the first day in the other. The Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. Now, the kingdoms is plural, the lady. Now, we need to establish this lady figure. And it ties to Washington, D.C., District of Columbia. Let me put this genius outside or he's going to drive us crazy. He's very old. Chief, where are you? Chief, you want to come? Come. I don't know where you're hiding. You're under the furniture. How am I going to get you? Come out. Come on. You come out, I'll take you. I can't climb under the furniture, Chief. So he's playing a game with me. He wants me to pick him up in a place like this. It's annoying. All right. So we need to build on this District of Columbia so you get the idea. This is going to take a couple of brief minutes. And shut up! You don't come out. Shut up! You want to come out? Come out. Stop it! You're being a nag. Got to yell at him a little bit. Okay, so we're going to look at the Columbia Motion Pictures icon. And we're going to build off of that. Come out, Chief. You got yourself wedged in there. Come out. This is the Columbia Motion Pictures icon. You have a woman, I shall show your nakedness and your shame. You have what appears to be a woman that's flat-chested. Wonder what the deal is with that, don't you? Shouldn't you wonder what that deal is? Okay. She's holding the light. Let me see if I can get a clearer picture for you. Here's another version of her, like with the sun, like Tammuz, the sun god that people worship on Sunday. Let me see if I could get another image that shows you the pedestal. She's on a pedestal. Chief, you gotta come out. I can't reach you. It's up to you. You gotta come out, Chief. You coming? I left the heat on in his room all night, so I don't think he's stiff from the cold because he had a nice toasty room. Yafa loved it. She was sleeping in front of the heater. All right. Well, this is a better picture, but you don't see the pedestal in this one, but she's on a pedestal. And you can see she's holding the light. Come to the light. You know, Satan comes as an angel of light. It looks like it's a woman, but it's flat chested. We don't know what it is. Okay. Now, let's take a look at the Statue of Liberty. And now that was Columbia Motion Pictures, so that's Columbia. So when they say Washington, D.C., Washington District of Columbia, they're naming the capital of the United States, which is not in any of the 50 states. It's its own city, administered by the federal Congress. Not in the 50 states, okay, but runs the 50 states. Does that sound like the great city to you? Okay, so let's take a look at the Statue of Liberty and see if it has a resemblance. You come out, Chief, it's up to you. When you come out, I'll take you out. You come. Don't tell me to come, you come. Oh, that's a lousy picture. Let's get a clear one. This looks clear. All right. My wife turned on an extra heater and blew the circuit breakers, but I think we're back. Okay, we're back. So, here's your Statue of Liberty. It's on a pedestal, and those pillars are reminiscent of a Roman Senate, or a Roman temple or a Greek temple. Again, it looks like a woman, but it's flat-chested. It has the light and all the stuff. Okay? Now, you see this same thing on the Capitol building. Okay? So they put it on top of the Capitol where the Senate and the House meet, right? So it dominates them. It's over them. Let me show you. Where is this? Here's this idiot woman on top of the Capitol, and this time she has a bird on her head and a sword and stuff like that. Okay? And again, if you notice, it's a flat-chested woman, which is unusual to say the least, right? That is Columbia. That is the Statue of Liberty. That is idolatry. Trump has no concerns about idolatry whatsoever. He's very comfortable with it. And that is what they named the capital of America after. Trump also, if you go back to the old pictures of his apartment in Trump Tower, has the Masonic pillars in his apartment. Go check it out. And he has false gods, I don't know, Zeus or something like that, painted on his ceiling. And there's people who run around and say he's a man of God. I am stunned by how people could be that thick to believe this. You come out, you can't go out, it's raining, nincompoop. All right, now I'm going to do another thing with the idols with you. He doesn't know it's raining outside, and he's still not coming out. Listen. You come out. You want to come out? Come out. I'm not going to crawl down there and get you. He goes and crawls into these corners under the furniture, and then he wants me to pick him up and pull him out. He has a sore leg, but I can't get in there. This is a Roman temple, okay? Notice the triangle at the top, it's called the Tiffium, which has graven images, three-dimensional idolatry over there with the pillars. That's a Roman temple, okay? Now, let me show you a Greek temple. Shut up! It's raining, you can't go out. And you don't even want to crawl out from under there. So, wake up. Why did you go there in the first place? This is a reconstruction of a famous Greek temple. Notice the triangle, the Tiffium, and the graven images there, and the pillars. Okay? Now, let's see about finding government buildings that are like this. Here's the White House. There's your triangle without the graven images. They must have been afraid to do that. And you got your pillars. These are temples to worship false gods, Greek and Roman gods. That's what the White House is. Let me take you deeper. Oh, you finally came out, Chief. Okay. It's raining. How can I put you outside? What am I going to do? This is a picture of the Supreme Court building of the United States with the Tiffium at the top with the graven images and the pillars. This is a house of worship for false gods. It's called the United States Supreme Court. Wake up. Now I'll show you another one and then we'll get back to the Bible text. Chief, it's raining. What am I supposed to do? Please pray for Chief. He's healing up, but he's not all healed. I don't know what he did to his leg. One of his legs isn't working right. I don't know what he did to it. This is number 11 Wall Street. I worked there for some job once when I was in college. There's the Tiffium, the triangle at the top with the graven images and the pillars. This is a house of worship to false gods. Wait, I'm not done. Let me lay it on you a little thicker. Oh, bad picture. Let me get a good picture. This is so bad. I need a good picture of this thing. That's all naked. I don't want to put it up. That's not a good thing to do. This could work. No. Wait, they just put lousy pictures up these days. Try this one. This one might work. It's hard to see. This is the United States Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. This is the statue honoring Neptune, the false god. It's in the fountain in front of the Library of Congress of the United States. Now, I could be sitting here and notice the pillars at the top of the Roman temple or the Greek temple. It's a house of worship of the false gods. Okay, and you find state capitals have things like this and so forth. I can sit here all morning and for hours and show you pictures of images, okay, that Trump never minds. He's very comfortable with them. Let me show you another one that he doesn't have any problems with. This is a statue in Washington, D.C., dedicated to the Boy Scouts of America. Notice there's this big, strapping man, naked except for a cloth around his privates, walking with his son and what apparently is his wife, who is a flat-chested, homely woman. What message are they trying to convey to us here is a good question. Now, what right-minded man would walk around naked with his son and his wife like that? What is this about? Is this something to do with Epstein Island? What do you think? Is Trump taking this down? Is anybody? Do you think it's a good thing to have a statue like this in Washington, D.C.? So it says in Jeremiah 50:51, mad upon her idols. I think I have demonstrated that to you this morning, and I only scratched the surface. Okay? It runs way, way, way deeper than that. It goes into hundreds of these things all around America. City buildings, state buildings, county buildings, federal buildings. It's all over the place. It's all through Washington, D.C. They got pictures in the White House of George Washington wearing his Masonic attire. Do they not worship unclean spirits? What, and I see people, oh, Trump is gonna help him. He's an enemy of God. He's really not a friend of yours. But everybody's so pumped up over Trump. Trump is not going to save anybody. God's not going to let that happen. He's trying to bring Israel and the nations to him in these days, not to a man. Cursed be the man that trusteth in man. And everybody seems to be trusting in Trump, who's a man. Not a good idea. He ain't God. He ain't a man of God. You got to get this down, or you're going to be in a lot of trouble. It's not a good thing. Checking the live stream. Chief, stop crying. I can't take you in the rain. Pray for Chief again for healing. He's walking around and I know it hurts his leg, but I can't put him out in the rain. What am I going to do? Bring him out there when it's raining? That's what he wants. Chief, please calm down. What is it that you want me to do, if anything? What? I don't know what he wants. All right. So, you might think it's too hot in here because I'm running the heater. I don't know. All right. So I hope you're getting an eye-opening here. So let's go back to the scriptures. We're in Isaiah 47. I think he wants me to move him. Oh, he's already moved himself. Okay. I'm in Isaiah 47, verse. Let me see if I can move this character. I'll be happy. What do you want? You know, you don't convey yourself clearly. I don't know. I'm guessing. You want me to move you someplace? Where? You want to get a drink of water or something? We can try that. You want water? No. No water for Chiefy. All right, let's put you on the mat. Maybe you'll be happy doing that. How's that? You can hang out with Yaffa. Maybe I'll unplug the heater. It is getting warm in here. See what that does. All right. Sorry about that. But he is the chief. Keep the prayers coming for him. He stopped whimpering. Okay. The Lady of Kingdoms. Why does it call the daughter of Babylon the Lady of Kingdoms? What country do all the heads of all the nations of the world go to have meetings? But the United Nations in New York City inside America, right? Okay. I was wroth with my people. He's talking about Israel. Lost tribes, likely American Indians that America massacred. And there's 6.5 million known Jews there. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thy hand. This fits America. Thou didst show them no mercy upon the ancient. Hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. That would be the North American Indians, which are, in my opinion, are lost tribes. And thou saidst, I shall be a lady forever, Statue of Liberty, Columbia, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Therefore hear now this, thou that are given to pleasures that dwell carelessly. That's the elite in America, maybe not this year, but 3 or 4 years ago on back through time, they were fine. Wars all over the world, they didn't care. Rolls Royces, diamonds, rubies, emeralds, mansions, jets, swimming pools, all this stuff, right? Thou art given to pleasures, thou dwellest carelessly, that saith in thy heart, I am and none else beside me. That's America. I shall not sit as a widow. Now, the widow is referencing married to the land. The land's going to be destroyed, so she's not going to have a husband, the land. Neither shall I know the loss of children. The children are the demonic people that follow the, sicko religions in America. The American government protects the rights of people worshiping false gods, including the Church of Satan. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment. A moment is in one day the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries. We know that. Entertainment, music, pictures, videos, movie theater, all of this stuff. And the great abundance of thine enchantments. The AC/DC people would have concerts, and they would sell the people red devil horns with a battery that would light up and flash when they did their concerts. So the people were worshiping and paying homage to Satan at the conferences, and that's okay with the American government. That's good entertainment. The great abundance in thy enchantments. They're doing witchcraft and sorcery all the time to sell their goods and everything. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. They're wrong about that. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. Wisdom and knowledge of the evil black arts. And thou hast said in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. Well, that's America, but they're wrong. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it rises. You're not going to know where it comes from. And mischief, it's like evil, shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. I think Chief calmed down. It was too hot for him with the heater. That's what it was. Okay, this is what's going to happen to America. And, you're not talking years from now. You're talking days or weeks, maybe a few months max. Stand now with, it's not going to even be a year. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. He's making fun of them because they're going to try to use witchcraft against the Lord. Thou art wearied in the multitude, that's how I see it, or use the demons against the Lord. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly procrastinators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. They can't. Behold, they shall be stubble. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. God says he's going to kindle fires in and around the cities of the daughter of Babylon. Now, he could do that through a foreign army. He could do it with fire and brimstone, or both. I am not sure how that'll happen. The details are not clear in the prophecies. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor a fire to sit before it. Thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou, thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth. They shall wander every one to his quarter, none shall save thee. Merchants, let's check that word. Seems to be correct. Let's see. Yeah, merchants, like somebody that sells stuff, a peddler or something like that. We know that those that reap the harvest and sow the seeds, the agricultural workers from other countries, will return to their own country for fear of the sword as well. But the Americans aren't going to go back to those countries. They're going to try to ride it out, I guess. Okay. That's what the survivalists think they're going to do, ride it out. And they're not. All right, now let's try to work in Revelation 17 and see if we could get some insights going here. Verse 1. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Waters would mean people, many people, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. This is a spiritual fornication, worshiping other gods. Okay, you shall have no other gods before thee. Does America have gods before thee? Well, you got the satanic churches leaving churchianity, of course. You got that. You got the Catholic churches. You got Buddhist temples and shrines, Hindu temples and shrines, Islam, many others, Mormon, JWs. I mean, the list is huge. And the government gives them special tax concessions, which they would never do if they were preaching the true gospel, would they? So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. That's not Satan, that's the beast. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet colors. That indicates riches, and financial, and decked with gold and precious stones, financial riches, not spiritual, and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon. It does not mean mystery, it means secret or secrecy. Okay? Secret Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, of prostitutes, spiritual prostitutes, and abominations of the earth. These graven images that I just touched on are abominations. Go back and look at the old paper money of the United States and what kind of abomination idols they put on those, and old stock and bond certificates. Do it in Google. Horrifically evil stuff in there. All kinds of false gods, Zeus, Mercury, all this sicko stuff. And I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints. Now this goes back through time, okay? And with the blood of the martyrs of Yeshua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of this woman and the beast that carrieth her. The mystery word we could think of as a secret, okay, which carries, it's a secret, but now we have the secret, which hath the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was and is not. It was and is not, because it's in the pit, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, not yet, and go into perdition after it comes up. When Yeshua returns, the beast and the false prophet go into the lake of fire. The first one's there, they go in alive, and that's your perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. Okay? It was in the past, it's been put in the pit, then it comes out of the pit and then goes into perdition. And here is the mind, which, and notice they die. A lot of them, I think, they die and they'll never figure out what happened. They can't understand the mysteries of the gospel because they're not the elect. They don't have the Holy Spirit. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains. Those are your 7 continents. The whore, Washington, D.C., has influence over all the 7 continents. Heavy influence. Not so much today, but go back a few years, yeah. Are 7 mountains, and on which the woman sitteth. So she's dominating or controlling the 7 continents. And that was daughter of Babylon for a long time. And there are 7 kings, 5 have fallen. So whoever these 7 kings are, 5 are gone at the time Revelation was written. And one is, and the other is not yet come. So the one was probably at the time Revelation was written, and the other is not yet come, which would reference back to the time this was written. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. I believe this is the beast, and he doesn't last very long. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet. This was written back then, about 2,000 years ago, roughly. But received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So the time of the beast is rather short. Are these kings assuming power today? No. The beast is still running around. I mean, the whore is still running. The beast is not going to be running Israel, but that's another subject. Let's go on. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb. Well, that means they didn't go up to heaven and try to shoot arrows at Yeshua. They're making war with the Lamb, not in New Jerusalem, because they killed before that, because the beast, when Yeshua returns, goes into the pit with the false prophet, and a lot of them get killed. So this is probably now at times, making war against Israel would be making war against the Lamb. The devil in Revelation says he goes after those that follow the commandments of God, the law, and have the testimony of Yeshua. That's who he goes after. Those are Yeshua's people, the true believers. For he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are people. See, the water, the flood, it means people. And multitudes, peoples and multitudes, and nations and tongues, all different kinds of people. Nations means heathens. And no, chief, no. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. Now the whore, as you'll see, is Washington, D.C. They hate the whore. Okay? So is Biden the whore, or is Biden with the beast? Biden was Obama's guy, 8 years as VP. Was Obama good for America or against America? Well, it's an obvious answer, against. So we could assume that, Biden is the beast, and Trump is still trying to run with the whore. Because he's not trying to destroy America. He's trying to build it up. Unless this is all a big deception, which is always a possibility. But I'm not leaning in that direction. Thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate, naked, and shall eat her flesh. This is all symbolic, and burn her with fire. So maybe these enemies of the whore system, which is what Trump stands for, and the beast, which wants to burn her and eat her flesh, which is what Biden stands for. Now I'm in verse 17. For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will. No, stop it. No. he put it in their hearts to fulfill his will. So God has the ability to do that, deceive them and so forth, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. That's got to be Washington, D.C. It's not Beijing, it's not Moscow, it's not Tehran, it's not Mecca, it's Washington, D.C. It's not London, it's not Paris, it's Washington, D.C. It's not Rome. Who the heck does the Pope reign over? Who? Islam, Hindus, Buddhists, atheists, Pentecostals, evangelicals, Messianics. Who does he reign? He doesn't reign over anybody, really. Very small. Chief, I don't know what you want, but I can't sit here and cater to you as your servant, okay? Can't stand here with the whimper. I don't know what he wants. What? What do you want me to do? I don't know what his problem is. Let me see. He's very spoiled. What do you want now? Do you want to get to the water? Why didn't you go before? I brought you right over here. I'm not feeding you now. It's too early. Here, go drink. He's drinking. That was what he wanted. I'll let him finish drinking. I'll bring him back on his mat. You finished? All right. And we'll go back and put you on the mat. You'll be comfortable, okay? Here, I'll put you right here next to Yafet. You can have fellowship with her, okay? There you go, Chief. Oh. Guys are lucky I like them. All right. Please keep the prayers coming for the chief. All right, so Revelation 18. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lighted with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Now, fallen is not destroyed. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And, you know, they were all in bed with America. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Well, that's the advantage of having a Federal Reserve and having unlimited money printed out of the clear blue sky. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. So that's the great exit. That's the harvest in America. That's the true believers in Yeshua, the lost tribes, the known Judah and Levi coming out of America to come to Israel. Those of you that survived the sword, let Zion come to mind. For her sins, so it can't be Israel, because why would you be leaving or go to Israel if you're already in Israel? So don't let them tell you it's Israel. It's illogical. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her lawlessness. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. in the cup which I have filled through her double. That's a heck of a punishment. How much she has glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. See, she doesn't believe it's ever going to happen. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine. So if there's people mourning, they're not all killed in one day. If there's famine, they're not all killed in one day. And she shall be utterly burned with fire. It says in Jeremiah 50:51, I will kindle fires in and around your cities. For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her. You know, that's like UAE, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, many, 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 many of these characters. Lament for her. Japan would be one, you know, Taiwan, South Korea, you know, they all sell goods to America, right? And lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, that great city, you see, that great city, Babel, is what it says, Babylon, you call it in English, it's Babel, it means confusion. It's a great city. The Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia, is a city. It's not part of any state. It's a city. You got to get this. Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. The elite in America, they buy $1 million cars, $1 million watches, you know, 20, 50, $100 million boats, 10, 20, 30, 40, $50 million aircraft. They buy all kinds of diamonds. They buy everything. I mean, just clothes, you know, they buy purses for $50,000. You know, it's people in America don't realize how poor they really are. And precious stones, and of pearls, and of linen, and purple, and silk, scarlet, and all thine all thy wood. They make the houses with special types of wood, beautiful wood, and vessels of ivory, and all manner of vessels of most precious wood, and of brass, and iron, and marble, and cinnamon, and odors, you know, perfumes and stuff, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves. Slaves. You ever hear about human trafficking in America? Have you ever heard that? Let's reference Epstein's Island. And souls of men. Epstein's Island. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. Well, they're going to be looted and pillaged by the enemies in America. The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city, that city, that city, that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company of ships and the sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off. They were afraid. They were watching it burn and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads, mourning because they lost their market, and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness, for in 1 hour is she made desolate. They're constantly importing goods, the best fabrics, foods, everything, cars, jewelry, construction material, everything. Rejoice over her, you heavens, and you holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her. Now that could mean the apostles in heaven. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and it shall be found no more at all. Now this, you read about this, Jeremiah doing this in Jeremiah 51. They take a millstone, throwing it into the water, the Euphrates River, I believe, and thus it will sink. It's definitely a daughter of Babylon. This alone tells you that. And the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and of trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in her, and no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee, and the light of a candle shall shine no more in thee. Now that was one of the plagues, the hits that came on Egypt, where it was about 3 days Goshen, where the Jews had light in their houses. Outside it was so dark you wouldn't see your hand in front of your face, and inside they couldn't light anything. They couldn't light a candle, a lamp, or anything. They were afraid to go outside because you couldn't see anything, so they were staying inside, but they didn't have any light or anything like that. And the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee, for thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. That's how they get people to buy stuff, to go to the movies, to listen to the music and stuff, all witchcraft, sorcery. And in her was found the blood of prophets and saints, and all that was slain upon the earth. Well, this is going back to the spirit, the evil spirit that was, working, or evil spirits that were working with the old Babylon. So, let me check on our chat. So, the question would be, I think, since Trump and Biden are opposed, who's with the beast and who's with the whore? Since Biden did things to basically destroy America, most notably the open borders, I would say he's with the beast, who wants to burn the whore and eat her flesh and change the system to something else. And I think Trump is with the whore and wants to build up the whore. And I think Biden, in the tradition of opening up the gates to the illegals, is likely throwing America into World War III before Trump could be sworn in. And he might do something to stop Trump from being sworn in. Exactly what it is, I don't know. Declare an emergency, martial law, say you can't transition the government. I don't know. That's my analysis on this. And please pray for me and my wife for peace, safety, protection, joy, healing. Pray for our animals and pets to be happy, healthy, and whole. They're all rescues. And keep praying for my wife and keep praying for Chief. I send my shalom to all and pray for better videos and the peace of Yerushalayim. And I send my shalom to all those who love Yeshua HaMashiach. I hope you got something out of this. I'm out.